Hi, welcome. Today I'm making this art card, and I'm specifically not saying artist trading card because it's 3x4 and that is not the dimensions of an artist trading card. I don't trade them, so I just make them a little bit larger size, which suits my purposes. I'm using this old stamp I've had for ages, and it's kind of like a large ticket. And so I'm just stamping the card. It's mixed media paper and it's been primed with gesso. And so I'm just stamping randomly, kind of randomly yet strategically. I don't want it to be really bold all over, so I'm kind of not putting as much ink on some of the areas. And that's a StazOn ink and black. That dries pretty quickly, so I can pretty much go right into my distress inks. And I think I start off with pickled raspberry. Of the pinks I have, that's my favorite. And I'm just taking my card and dabbing it on places. I'm using a baking mat because it will bead up on this mat instead of just on a glass plate. It just kind of spreads all over. So I got my pink on there, and then I'm going to dry that, and I'll start with the next color. And so that is Wild Honey. And then I dried that. And next up is Cracked Pistachio. I'm trying not to get any muddy areas, so if it looks like it's going to be muddy, I just kind of tap it off with my baby wipe. I just kind of wanted a touch of the green. And so I dried that, and I come in with mustard seed. And I dry that. And I really wanted the pink to stand out more, so I actually put on a fixative so that I wouldn't meld my colors anymore, and then just added on top of that some more pickled raspberry. And then I do it again. So that's dried, and now I'm gonna try to choose my focal point, and these are all flowers that I have drawn on old book pages and then cut them out, and so I'm just seeing which one I like the best, and I choose that one. And then I want to darken it up a little bit, so I think I'm using Vintage Photo. Then I come in with a slightly different color of brown, and I'm trying to remember what that's called. Something twig, I think. I'm just touching it in spots. Just checking it out for placement because I still want to add some marks to my background. And so I grab a gold Posca paint pen, the fine point, I believe. And I'm just making little swirly circles. I still want some more marks, so I grab my Neocolor II crayons and I just make a few little dots on the right side, just in some open areas. And then I take that same crayon and I run it down some of the edges. Not all of it, just. And then I dip my finger in some water just to kind of set it. And I don't really want a solid line, just kind of a little blotch here and there. And I sprayed it with a fixative and drying it. And that's because that is a water soluble, the crayons are water soluble, and I just don't want them to rub off or. So now I'm going to secure my focal point, and I'm just going to use Tombow glue stick. Looking for my sentiments, and I must have got called away and turned my phone off, but I chose Ticket to Paradise because of that ticket and stuck that on there, and I have put a coat of Liquitex matte varnish on top just to secure everything. And I also, on the far left, you can see I took a very small portion of that ticket stamp and ran it along almost like a border. You can see that says ticket and like dimensions of the ticket. So I didn't want a whole lot there, but I thought just the little edge would work out. So now I'm taking some of my chipboard, and I like to mount them on chipboard because I like them to be nice and sturdy. And I'm adding some liquid glue. This glue is called Barely Art. It's pretty good. And then I stick it on to that chipboard, and I secure it with some binder clips just to make sure the edges don't peel up. But it's pretty fast. Once I get them on, I just have to set it aside for a few minutes because that glue holds pretty quickly. So there it is after the glue is dried, and I've got the sentiment on it. It's on the board. And the very last thing is I just feel like the head of the flower needs a little bit of denseness to it, like more marks. So I come back in and just add a few more marks with my marker there. I think I'm using a Tombow, the silver one. It's blue with silver. But that's all I do for today on that card. I hope you like it. Please give me a thumbs up and a subscribe, and have a great day.